Hi ladies, and welcome to the Thrive Chapter Spotlight. Today we are in Psalms 36. David is writing concerning the sinfulness of the wicked. He speaks of the sinners that do not have the fear of God, those who are deliberately doing bad and who like others that are doing bad along with them. In verse 4, David speaks of the sinner who plots evil in his bed. This is the very place in Psalm 63, verse 6, and where God tells us that we are to meditate on his word. He also speaks of the sinners here that are not rejecting what is wrong. Some believe that David is speaking of Saul, but if we are honest with ourselves, how many of us could fall into this same category? In verses 5 through 12, David changes his focus to the grace of God. David sees a sinful world and the dishonoring that it is doing to God. But in verse 7, David says, "How excellent is thy loving kindness, O God." He sees the goodness of God. He sees God's grace and mercy and the satisfaction that comes only when we stay close with God. In verse 10, David then prays for those who are like him, those that know God. He calls them upright in heart. In verse 11, David asks God to basically help him not to get wrapped up in this sinfulness and this wickedness. He asks God not to have them to prevail over him. He is asking for God's help so that he can stay close with God. Then in verse 12, he acknowledges that these sinners will fall because of the wrath of God and for them not turning their hearts towards God. Ladies, in your situation, are you looking for the goodness of God? No matter what situation you're in today, God's grace is there, his mercy is there. Do you find yourself of the world, or are you like David praying daily and even hourly to have God help you to stay full of integrity? See, we only have integrity when we abide in God and when we are close to him. Are you experiencing God's grace and mercy and satisfaction that only he can supply? Ladies, that's my prayer for you this week. And I'm going to ask that you continue reading with us. Thank you.